Not done yet, because it's my pleasure today to announce macOS 10. First, we are going to have a single OS strategy at Apple. We're not going to have a dual or a triple or a quadruple OS strategy like some others. We're going to have one OS. And that's very important to us.
But today, we're going to announce the first major upgrade to macOS 10 version 10.1, and it's come out spectacular. We've shown this, everybody we've shown it to has one word, first word out of their mouth, awesome. The performance is spectacular. We've filled in the missing features, not only DVD playback, but things like burning DVDs right from the desktop with 4.6, whatever it is, gigabytes of data right from your desktop. This is Jaguar, the next release of macOS 10. We're officially announcing it today, version 10.2. It's the most beautiful CD we've ever made. Pixar rendered the fur, by the way. Because today, we're going to preview Panther for you, the next major release of macOS 10, version 10.3. Its name is Panther, and it's the fourth major release of macOS 10, following Cheetah, Puma, and Jaguar. In Panther, there are over 100 major new features. For OS 10, we're getting more every day, and Panther has been a phenomenal release to trigger all of this and to really drive us to complete the transition to OS 10. But starting today, our focus is on something else. Our focus is on the next release of macOS 10, which is called Tiger. Tiger is the fifth major release of OS 10, following Cheetah, Puma, Jaguar, and Panther. Tiger is going to ship in the first half of 2005. So we're showing it to you a little earlier than we've showed you prior releases like Panther last year, which shipped in the fall. But we want to get it in front of you, and we want to show you what our thinking is, and we want to get you started to incorporate some of the amazing technologies you're going to see here today in your apps. So today, we're going to move beyond Tiger and give you a final look at Leopard before it ships in October. We are really excited about Leopard. We think with Tiger, we're already ahead of the competition, and we think Leopard is just going to set an even higher bar. Our last major release was Tiger on Intel in January 2006. And we're going to ship Leopard in October. That's 21 months after Tiger on Intel. Leopard is the sixth major release of OS 10. It's got 300 new features.
And so when it became time to think about the next big cat, we decided to name it Snow Leopard, to build upon Leopard. And the challenge that we set for ourselves is to build a better Leopard. So what does that mean? Three things. First, lots of refinements across board. Second, powerful new technologies. And third, exchange support.
So where do we take it next? Well, next up in OS 10 is Lion, a major release with over 250 new features. And if you'd like, we can go through every one of them today. Yes. Well, I'd love to. I'm told I only have enough time to tell you about 10 key new features. At Apple, we believe the way to make a truly great system is to design both the hardware and the software and continually innovate them together. With Lion, we rethought some of the basic things we've used from the very beginning of a graphic operating system, things like clicking and scrolling and saving of files. But now we can take advantage of the new, faster, more powerful hardware to completely change the experience of using a personal computer. We think Lion sets the standard for what a state-of-the-art desktop
We're here to announce Mountain Lion. With Mountain Lion, our mission remains the same: to deliver the world's most advanced operating system for notebook and desktop computers, with an interface optimized for multi-touch trackpads and mice. And you see we have a gorgeous new desktop image and a beautiful new glass dock. You'll notice a couple new items on that dock, including a new reminders app. And this is really handy if you're taking to-dos for yourself on the go. You can find them all automatically right here via iCloud. You can use multi-touch gestures to page between your reminders. Toward the 10th, we've hit a real issue. We do not want to be the first software in history to be delayed due to a dwindling supply of cats. Now, fortunately, we do have a creative group at Apple, and we can think out of the box. And so we thought maybe we could take this lion thing in a different direction. So I'm proud to present to you today OS X Sea Lion. What do you think? Okay, maybe not. That could be a bit of a dead end. So, in fact, we're really excited about the future of the Mac, and we want a set of names that are going to carry us for at least the next 10 years. And you know, the answer was really obvious to us. It's those places that inspire us here in California, in the place where OS X is designed and built. So for our first California-themed release, we went just outside our backyard, just off the coast, to a place with some of the biggest waves and most extreme surfing in all of North America, OS X Mavericks. Now, you may remember that we were able to deftly shift from names based on big cats to names based on beautiful places in California, starting, of course, with OS X Mavericks. Well, it's another year and time for another name. And so we collected our crack product marketing team, shoved them in their VW minibus, and set them out on the road. Now, they first ventured south, discovering OS X Oxnard. Now, this wasn't quite right, but undeterred, they headed east, landing at OS X Rancho Cucamonga. Still, we hadn't quite hit the mark, so they boldly ventured north, landing at OS X Weed. Now, strangely, this one had large pockets of support within the product marketing organization. But saner heads did prevail, and they set off on what then was a somewhat more circuitous path that took them ultimately to a place that embodies the beauty and power of OS X. We discovered OS X Yosemite. Now, Yosemite is a fantastic new release with a new interface, big enhancements to our most popular apps, and something all new we call continuity. real question, of course, was what to call it. So we had to once again turn to our crack Apple marketing team. Now, in typical California fashion, they started with a project kickoff meeting and then headed immediately into a team-building offsite. Now, of course, they're in their traditional Apple marketing Free Bottom Fridays attire. They say it's all part of their process. I'm not sure I get it. Ultimately, this didn't yield any names, so they called in a consultant. He told them the answer was to be found within. Not within themselves, but within Yosemite. And so the new name for OS X is OS X El Capitan. Of course, no presentation at WWDC about OS X would be complete without some kind of naming controversy. Now, I'm not talking about some allegedly baked members of our marketing team going on some kind of vision quest around California looking for a special name. I'm actually talking about the name OS X itself. You know, OS X has been with us as a name for over 15 years, and it served us so well. But as we look at it alongside its younger brethren, something sticks out. We realize that there's a name that would be so much clearer and so much more elegant. And so, we're making it so. The name of the world's most advanced desktop operating system is now macOS. Now, of course, each version of macOS does have a special name after a place that's especially important to us here in California. And this year's macOS is no different. But the choice this time was obvious. Our latest, newest OS X is macOS Sierra. Now, of course, the question is, what do we call it? So we enlisted, once again, our crack marketing team. They were giddy to hop in their minibus and this time venture east, deep into the Sierras, but this time ascending its highest peaks. And when they finally came back, they had a name they said felt really, really good, and it's my privilege to announce for you today, macOS High Sierra. Now, we talked to the guys and we said this might be misconstrued, but they assured us this name is fully baked. So, now, High Sierra is all about deep technologies. Our next release of macOS is macOS Mojave. Now, Mojave is beautiful during the day, but what really captured our imagination was the beauty of the desert at night. And this inspired one of our most distinctive new features, and I'd like to show it to you now. So here we are live in macOS Mojave, and I'd like to show you a new side of Mojave. We call it dark mode. Now, as you see, dark mode is not just about the dock or the menu bar. It extends to your Windows Chrome, your sidebar, and even the content of the windows. Diving and so much more. It's macOS Catalina. Now, Catalina includes cool new features, some really fresh new apps, and some powerful technology for developers. Let's take a look. We begin with iTunes. But what should we call it?
Well, if you're a student of macOS, you know this question can only be answered by Apple's legendary crack marketing team. Their drug-fueled, minibus-driven vision quests have yielded some great names and sadly spawned a host of imitators. The truth is, we can't responsibly continue to inadvertently lead our competition to copy these methods when they clearly can't handle the trip. So this year, we're leaving our process shrouded in mystery and taking you straight to the glorious destination. Our next release of macOS is macOS Big Sur. macOS Big Sur introduces an entirely new design and major updates to some of the most essential apps on the platform. And just like its name, Big Sur brings you unmatched levels of power and beauty. Let's start with design, where we're making the biggest change since the introduction of macOS 10. To tell you more about the philosophy and incredible craftsmanship behind the new design, here's a short video with Alan Dye.
But what should we call it? Well, that brings us to the latest exploits of our crack marketing team. With their annual vision quest postponed, our merry band of nomadic namers wandered aimlessly through the California hills before donning their technicolored wetsuits and immersing themselves in the inspiration of the beautiful rich waters of Monterey. macOS Monterey gives you the power to accomplish more than ever and helps you work fluidly across all of your devices. The incredible features we talked about earlier are going to be great for the ways you work on Mac, like the new capabilities in FaceTime, which help you look and sound your best while talking to coworkers or friends. With SharePlay, it's just plain awesome to watch movies and shows together on your stunning Mac display with continuity. So what should we call it? Well, that brings us to the latest exploits of Apple's crack product marketing team. They've been absolutely riding high since their naming coup on M1 and M2. And needless to say, they were exhausted. But after their requisite 3-month rejuvenation retreat in Monterey, with their chakras now in complete alignment, the team once again piled into their macOS naming microbus and wove their way down Highway 1. Chasing the vibrant display of colorful California wildflowers, they finally came to rest where stunning surf meets lush alluvial plains in beautiful Ventura. macOS Ventura enriches so many of the ways we use our Macs. So let's jump in. A key part of the Mac experience is helping you be productive and creative, which can often mean having a lot of windows open at once. And the more you do, the more overwhelming this can become. We all want the perfect mix to focus on our work without distractions and to easily move between tasks. Now, when it came to naming this release, we turned once again to Apple's legendary crack product marketing team. The instructions were simple and explicit. Travel far and wide, leave no stone unturned. Well, as far as we can reconstruct, that search consisted of piling in their microbus, punching in the words "awesome vineyard" into maps, and beelining straight to one of the most famous wine regions in the world. A place celebrated by the team, perhaps a bit too much, and beloved by millions. Introducing macOS Sonoma, a big new release that will make your Mac more delightful and even more productive. First, many of the features we talked about earlier on iOS and iPadOS are going to be great on the Mac. And macOS Sonoma brings a rich set of features that elevate the experience of macOS, starting with stunning new screensavers. But what should we call it? Well, that brings us once again to the annual escapades of our legendary crack marketing team. Distracted briefly from their marathon hacky sack session, they stumbled into their minibus and wove a trail toward the Sierras, eventually rolling to a stop in a beautiful national park. Staring skyward up the towering trunks surrounding them, they felt a deep kinship with anything that could get that high. They knew they'd found their spot. Welcome to macOS Sequoia. The incredible features we talked about in iOS 18 and iPadOS 18 are going to be amazing for the ways you use Mac. You can be even more expressive in messages. Math notes provide a helpful typed experience, and you can easily plan a hike in Maps. These new features are terrific on the Mac